Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the World Zakat Forum web series. My name is Arwa Violaditya and I will be the moderator for today's session. Today, we will have the topic of women leadership in the global Zakat movement. The global campaign of Zakat has been emerging significantly over the past few years, and this movement, at best, has been strengthened with the establishment of the World Zakat Forum in September 2010. Up to the date, the number of 39 countries has joined the World Zakat Forum membership, and the World Zakat Forum existence of 1 decade has been critical for the global development of Zakat. The movement, with the World Zakat Forum, has provided a substantial platform for the international stakeholders to share and gain relevant experiences of Zakat administration. In the context of leadership, the discussion upon the topic of women leadership in Zakat management has been central from many perspectives. Therefore, today we will be talking about women leadership in the global Zakat movement. Today, we have two amazing speakers who will be telling us and giving their perspectives and insights about women leadership in the global Zakat movement. Our first speaker is Madam Azara Haroun, the CEO of Zakat and Sadaqa Trust Fund of Ghana. Hello, Madam Azara.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, my dear.
Walaikum
Hello.
salam. How are you today? Hello.
Alhamdulillah, very well. How is the fasting with you?
It's great over here. So,
Wonderful.
Besides Madam Azara, we also have another speaker who is Sister Priyesta Rizkiningsih, the Manager of Economic Empowerment at the Department of Utilization at the National Board of Zakat, Republic of Indonesia. Assalamualaikum, Mrs. Priyesta.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
How are you today, Sister Priyesta?
Alhamdulillah, very good.
Okay, that's very nice to know. So, I will explain a little bit about how the session will run today. So the first thing is that we will discuss about the topic of women leadership in the global Zakat movement, and I will like to hear several perspectives from both Sister Priyesta and from Madam Azara. And after hearing several of your perspectives, we will have a question and answer session, and the questions will be taken from the YouTube chat box. So for those who are at home viewing from the YouTube channel, you can put in any questions that you might want to ask our speakers in the YouTube chat box, and we will select 3 questions for the audience, for the speakers to answer during the Q&A session. Is that clear? Okay, so now we will move on first to Madam Azara. Madam Azara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. I can hear you well, my dear.
Madam Azara. Okay, thank you very much, Madam Azara. So, as the CEO of Zakat and Sadaqa Trust Fund in Ghana, I would like to ask you, how do you view women leadership in general? What is your perspective about women leadership in general?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Before I start, I would like to say salam to all the viewers and to BAZNAS for allowing us to be able to come on board to at least try our best to explain in our own opinion and experience women's role in Zakat management in the world. My view, and I stand from the standpoint of Africa, is that I think it is faith, one's faith, and one's passion for whatever you are doing, what drives you to be what you want to become. And considering the fact that I have that in Allah and also the passion to want to help the needy, I feel that, I am on top of my work. And I also know that in Ghana, there's really a difference between a man in a role as a CEO and a woman as one. What is most important is what you are to deliver, the results you can achieve. And that drives me on a daily basis. Particularly so when we are doing this as a service to Allah. In Ghana here, there are a lot of other CEOs in other companies, be they business, spiritual. And I just want to emphasize that we are actually leading with confidence, and we are actually trying as much as possible to be supported by, in the case of Zakat and Sadaqa Trust Fund, we work according to Sharia regulations that have a board of trustees, with which I have very learned people in the Quran and Hadith. And I apply the day-to-day management purpose, run the funds. That I need any support in terms of Sharia compliance. This board of trustees, who are well learned in the Quran and Hadith, are my support. Additionally, I have other trustees who are also CEOs of other companies, and I believe we work together to enable the fund run perfectly. I don't know whether you'd like me to pause here or to go on. That is where I would start for now. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right, okay. So I'm stopping here for now. And you ask me another question, or you want me to tell you everything about how we do things here?
Okay. So thank you very much for your insight, Madam Azara. I would like to ask the same question to
Yes.
Sister Priyesta. So what do you think about women leadership in general, Sister Priyesta?
Okay. In my opinion, the woman leadership in general is still limited. As you can see, the research from Credit Suisse in 2019, it shows that globally, only 17.6% of the women in the management level. And in the case of Indonesia, in 2019, also based on the same research, it shows that only 19% of the Indonesian women still, in the woman Indonesian women in the management level, and this ratio is still lower if we compare to the other ASEAN countries, which have more than 20% of women staying in the management level. In addition, looking at the women in the higher level, the board level, from the same research, we can see that women in Indonesia who stay in the board position is only 11.3%. This is also a very low number comparing to the other ASEAN countries. So in this case, we can see that the woman leadership in each country also influenced by the culture in the country itself. In the case of Indonesia, we can see the culture strongly influenced hierarchical structure in Indonesia. So with this mindset, the people see that man is the one who should go for the leadership position. So, um, in my opinion, there is a limited number of women who can go to the managerial level or even to the higher level of it. So, what we can do to make a more women go to the managerial positions. The first one is how to foster the environment to encourage more women to go for the leadership position. And the second one is to break the glass ceiling that limited the number of women for the leadership position. I think that's my perspective for the women leadership globally.
Okay, thank you, Sister Priyesta. So basically, from both Madam Azara and Sister Priyesta, is that currently in the world there is still, even though it's already the year 2020, is that the role between men and women is the difference is very significant. There are a lot of people who still view that men should be leaders and that women do not have the capability or the capacity of becoming a leader. And even and that the number of women leaders is still very low and very limited, and that we should also be able to break that glass ceiling. But moving back to Sister Priesta, what do you think is what do you think are some certain qualities of a woman and how they can become a leader?
Uh, okay, talking about the quality of women in the leadership position, we can see that women have, I can say that women have better emotional intelligence, which is a core trait to the leadership. They, they have a better and manage people and inspire the followers and also set aside the selfish agenda. However, compared to men have a very good confidence and also ambition, as well as to managing the task. So I think that if women want to be in the leadership position, we have to combine what we don't have better. For example, in order to reach the leadership position, women should increase their confidence and ambition. This is the I think this is the main reason why women is still limited. It's not about their capability or capacity. I believe that women have that capability and capacity, but they don't have like enough confidence, or they don't have as high confidence as men.
Okay, is that all from you, Sister
Yeah.
Priesta?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And how about you, Madam Azara? What do you think are some qualities that could make a woman a strong leader?
Okay. Alhamdulillah. I'm going to speak from what it takes to be a leader from my viewpoint, because I'm already there, and the kind of things which actually help me to enable me drive the institution. So really, I think I'm going to from practice. I would not like to make it negative because I'm already there, and I feel I'm doing just that. My colleague mentioned something important, which is confidence. Earlier on, I was of the view. I told you earlier on that the first thing that makes a person succeed as a leader, the belief, the strong belief that you can do it, the faith that you have Allah by yourself, particularly so as I work in the in a religious organization. The second thing is passion. The passion being that you really want to make a point, you want to achieve a result life. And once you have that passion and belief that you can make it, at least you are set to go. But other things come, they fall in place. Your vision, which is linked to your belief and your passion. What do you want to achieve? And for me, the sense of purpose that I have as a leader is what I actually treasure very much. I want to be able to please Allah. I want to be able to serve. And that is what makes me every day, and I wake up to want to go to work, to manage. But of course, my vision should be aligned to a company's vision. And my company's vision, which is Zakat, BAZNAS, Zakat, and Sadaqa vision, is that we actually want to be able to alleviate poverty through recognizing subscribers, collect whatever they want to put in the fund, and ensure that we give the needy. Now, I'm very passionate about it. And this helps me to be able to achieve the mission. And our mission simply is to ensure that the needy are saved. And I love doing that. So that is number 3. I've talked about belief, passion, and I've linked it to the vision of the institution, and that just makes things work. However, you need to be a player. Any leader, I would suggest, should have something or knowledge or want to be able to work with the team. You need to have that zeal to want to drive that team. You cannot inspire the team to work with you. I mean, you cannot work alone in a Zakat institution. You will have to talk to subscribers, have people on board. Without them, you cannot really make any money. You cannot invest in the Zakat. You have to have that relationship zeal. You want to talk to people. You want to be able to inspire them, believe in what you believe in, so that they can help you to achieve your results. So you see that the leadership will not play only with them. It will not play only with them, but you are also dealing with. I'm dealing with BAZNAS now. I believe that my team role should show. I believe that people should be able to believe that what we are doing is the case or is real, that they should move along with me. So being a team player is one of the very important, how do I put it? One of the first principles of a successful leader, I would say. So I'm going to leave the rest because I picked this 4 because I believe that it is what makes a person even want to be able to want to work and to achieve results. So I've mentioned belief and faith. I've said 2, passion is very important, being passionate about what you have. But earlier on, I said you need to link this with, you need to understand what your vision, your personal vision life is. I think the company's vision. Now, the 2 of them actually meet and gel together, you should be able to succeed very well. And I've added that being a team player and wanting to be able to lead a team and wanting to be able to inspire and motivate people, all stakeholders, I'm talking about outside and inside the organization, is very, very key to leadership. Particularly as a woman, I am quite lucky in the sense of Ghana. We Muslims are about, I would say, under 20% of the population. So we are in a secular country where we have a lot of men, and they also have women leaders, and the status quo, the belief in the past that women could not lead, or it was difficult for them to be part of leadership, is gone. We are part of it today, and I think, alhamdulillah, we are doing well. But having said that, the reason why a woman is best leader, and I enjoy it, is that a woman was designed to be a leader. Being a mother, particularly in Islam, tells us that, we are just the right people to lead. Because if you apply the principle of motherhood in whatever you are doing, we are already very, very passionate. But my colleague said earlier on, emotional intelligence is what we need to actually beef up, because sometimes we can get too emotional. But if I am a leader, if you are a mother, a successful mother at home, and you have hands-on in managing an institution, you shouldn't have a problem, because you already have the skills and natural skills as a mother, which will help you to move on. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much. Yes,
right.
I can hear you.
All right.
Thank you very much. That was very inspiring.
Okay.
So, moving on, because you are from Ghana and you are also the CEO of the Zakat and Sadaqa Trust Fund there.
Yes.
You you have a lot of experience in women empowerment and leadership, and so I would like you to could you tell us a little bit about your experience there in managing zakat as a woman in Ghana?
Okay.
And if there are any women empowerment programs in your country?
Can you repeat the last bit of your question again, please?
Yes, so I would like you to tell us a little bit about your experience as the CEO of Zakat and Sadaqa in Ghana. So how it is in managing the Zakat and Sadaqa in Ghana, and also if there are any women empowerment programs in your country that you could tell us about.
Okay. Thank you very much. Zakat and Sadaqa Trust of Ghana was actually established in 2010. We have the founding members, and I'm lucky, I would say, to have been made part of the board of trustees in 2012. I was working as a banker. Actually, I'm a retired banker, and I worked with them as I contributed to the board for a long time before I started. I mean, actually invited me when I finished or when I went on retirement to become the CEO. And having said that, you would then know that I actually worked for a very long time in a corporate organization such as a bank, in a banker, and in the role of senior management in that bank. So I did a lot of things that made things successful. And I'm just kind of sitting down, learning today as the CEO of Zakat and Zakat Trust Fund from the experience I've already gained in the other banks. I'm using that very well. And having said that, because maybe I've also studied a lot, I've done a lot of management courses, I've done a lot of, I've done an executive MBA in finance and banking. I've taught management myself in schools. I've been a motivational speaker, at gatherings. And having said that, it has all actually propelled me to be what I am. Coming back to put that experience in managing Zakat and Sadaqa Trust Fund of Ghana, I again would say that what we did as a team, because I would normally say that I was the driver the operations of the institution, and therefore whatever decision I have will not be taken by just me alone. Normally, we ensure that we have a board of trustees put in place. We had a structure and an organogram, that is a structure in which we had hierarchical positions for people throughout the whole country. So you need a web that would allow you to know where you are going in each and you ask and when you need to speak to someone in the various offices around the country. So yes, we have a leader, we had a board of trustees, we have the CEO, we have people who work under the CEO, and then I also have a proper structure. Now we have procedures that guide us on daily basis, and it is what we have done in terms of putting the right structures and procedures and guidelines that has actually helped to make things work. And I believe that even if I was not there and we had a very competent person again to lead or to begin to work again as CEO of the it will be successful. So really, I actually, when I'm working in a place, work to make myself dispensable, such that if not there, the other team members will be able to take up their positions and work without me being there at all. And that is the beauty about this. That is the beauty about working in a God-served institution, because you are in it for the sake of Allah, and you know that one day you will not be there. So you work. I'm actually working to ensure anytime I'm not there, the institution go ahead to work. Now, I've done this, and in this case, when it comes to day-to-day operations, our main job is to ensure the first question you ask yourself is, you need to be able to get people to subscribe. Otherwise, we are not going to grow. So the first thing that we have in the office is that in the morning is that, where are we going? Obviously, it stems from our yearly plan of action, our yearly objectives, and all. And we also even have business continuity plans put in place to ensure that there was such a thing as a disaster, such as the COVID-19 pandemic. We are able to survive, and that is what has happened in the last 2-3 months in Ghana, where we were able to at least find funds to be able to support the needy big time during the pandemic. And we actually, unfortunately or fortunately, I would put it, fortunately for Muslims, because in a disaster when you are in Ramadan, it is that it reminds you that God is in control, Allah is in control. So you see that during the pandemic, before even Ramadan, we had actually done a lot of distribution of food packs to the needy. And we did the food packs such that if you gave to a family of at least 4, they could feed 1 complete month. And during Ramadan, we have been able to get a lot of people who sympathize with Zakat and Sadaqa Trust Fund, and they have actually brought a lot of support, and we have continued to put the funds in place. We have continued to provide food packs to give to people. And in the last week, you realize that my voice is even a bit tired, because during this weekend, actually we have been outside and trying to help the needy by way of distribution of food packs, and it has been quite hectic. But we enjoy it, because that is one of the things that we want. We want to put effort on people. We want to be able to bridge the gap between the poor and when you have done that, even if you are aside as I feel today, you feel inspired, you feel challenged, and that is the beauty of it. So really, yes, you need the subscriber, The Muslim wants to pay his zakat, and in a case, Sadaqa as well. And you also need the zakat office to be there and ready to work, and you need to also support the needy. That's for them on daily basis. We are with them. We have not been left. We have not left our support to say people who need medical attention. We have helped people actually gone to the hospital to undergo operations. We have helped people indeed buy expensive medicines probably would not have been able to buy if we were not present in the system. In addition to that, we have actually helped a lot of students gone to the university to study because we believe that education is our big problem in Africa, and to close it in Ghana. And we believe that if all our community were educated, our problems could be lessened because understanding would be easier, isn't it? Now, what we also do is we actually empower women. We actually help them by way of supporting them. There are a lot of them out there who have the skills, and suddenly maybe they have lost their husband, and even men who have lost their wives and have to take care of children, for example, would need to be supported, and they have come to us, all the time for that kind of support. Now, we just don't do it. As I said, if you put in a request for support, what we do is we ensure that through the assessment, we do some investigation, and I have my team, a team who does that as well. And they would actually go in to ensure that what you are saying is indeed the case. Your local imam would have to support you by way of saying, yes, I recognize that this person really needs the support. And then we come to our office, look at our budget against how many people are making the request, and then we pass it at the end of the day to our board trustees. So we recommend it to the board trustees to actually say yes by way of approval or no by way of decline, and we come back support. And we have, through these activities, that is women empowerment, empowering people to do business, which is my favorite, educating people by way of giving scholarships and sponsorships, as well as actually helping people to go to the hospital. And of course, in this pandemic time and challenging time of ours, give food packs out to people. And we are actually waiting. We are praying and hoping that very soon this pandemic would be over, and then we'll go back to our main scheme of doing things as we actually do, particularly when it comes to sponsoring our students. We miss them all, and some of them, even in these difficult times, have come out to act as ambassadors to support us, support the needy. Thank you.
Thank you, mashallah. That was very inspiring. I mean, you, the CEO of Zakat institution in Ghana, explaining to us the experiences that you have, and that it is very relevant to the issue now. And yes, I also agree with you that education is very important, because through education we will have a sense of mutual understanding, and that we will be able to empower each other, especially women. When women are educated, we will be able to empower each other and be able to stand strong. So I'm moving back to Sister Priyesta, and thank you very much, Madam Azara, for sharing your experiences. To Sister Priyesta, as we heard, those were the experiences of Madam Azara from Ghana. So how are your experiences in empowerment or women empowerment, especially in Zakat, here in Indonesia?
Okay, we here in business have so many programs for the mustahik, but I can say that we don't have like specifically programs for women. But in fact, some of our program, the majority of the mustahik are women. For example, we have Zmart. Zmart is a traditional retail store that we empower. We give like additional capital to them, and then we make the branding and we provide a mobile application for them to increase the customer satisfaction as well as to compete with the modern retail store. And currently we have about 890 all around Indonesia, and actually the 75% of the recipient of the Zmart program are women. So this program is not specific for women, but the majority of them are women. The other program that we have is business microfinance, which we give a capital also for the SMEs, and the majority of them is also women. Currently, we have 7 microfinance across Indonesia, and the 71.1% of the recipient are women. And the other one, the program that we have for women is what we call the Batik Village in Cibulu, Bogor in West Java. So in this village, it's making a batik. Batik is a traditional pattern from Indonesia, which have like different pattern in each region. So this empowerment program is that we increasing their to get a better life. We also conserve the batik tradition itself. So this is what I can say. We have so many programs, and the majority of them are women. What I can see here is because our underprivileged people sometimes they need an additional income. So the women in the family like starting their business. I think something like that we have in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Priyesta. So, as we can see, both in Ghana and Indonesia, there are so many programs that these Zakat institutions have made, and that they don't only they empower many communities, and they also have programs that can also empower women and make women become more become empowered. So now that we only have 15 minutes left before the session ends, we will now move on to the question and answer session. So I will select several questions from the YouTube chat box, and either Sister Priyesta or Madam Azara can answer the questions. Okay, so I will look at the questions that are here on the YouTube channel. The first question is from Mr. Abdul Aziz, and he says that many young women from poor families are becoming child marriage victims. So, what is the role of Zakat institutions in your respective countries to mitigate this issue? I will give this question to Madam Azara first to answer. Madam Azara?
Okay. All right. I've done that. Hello.
Hello, Madam
Hello.
Azara. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Okay, I'll repeat the question.
Yes.
The question is that many women or many girls from poor families are becoming child marriage victims. So what role
Are
of
becoming
zakat institutions in your respective countries
many
is to mitigate
many
these
girls
issues?
are becoming many girls are becoming sorry, I didn't hear it. I didn't get it. Many are becoming
Yes, many girls are becoming victims of child marriage.
okay.
So, in your country, what is the role of zakat institutions to mitigate this problem?
Oh, beautiful. It's a very good question. You would remember that earlier on I said for us at Zakat, our main concentration is on education, on education, on education. We know that if you actually send people to school, if you get into those things you want. So what we do is we actually know and believe that what we are doing is helping because we actually work Ghana Muslim Student Association and we a lot of talks. We also actually give scholarships, particularly to needy girls, to study professional courses and technical courses which will make them employable. And once they get involved in that, before you finish, by the time you finish school anyway, you have been at the right age to marry. You will not go marry if you actually are going to school. And of course, the parents themselves, through the education, the girls are able to have the kind of confidence they and the support to be able to convince parents um, to understand. But I also want to add that generally, because the world is now a global place, education is more open now, and even the parents are understanding that they must their children to school. Obviously, if you look at today's world where I live, those days it was just a few of us as girls who went to school. But in my village today, almost all the children, including the girls, have started to go to school. And we believe that girl or early marriages would come out very soon. Indeed, I mean, in my part of the world, I would say that it is not as I mean, they don't. I think the percentage is very small when it comes to child marriages today. It is beginning to dwindle, and very soon I believe that it will come to naught. So really, having said that, yes, if you send a child to school, education, it will help in terms of taking things out of the society is not right. You know, such as early childhood marriages, as the person who's is asking. But in addition to that, the person will feel empowered to be able to want to have a vision that will not just be about marrying early, but probably getting a job, a business before they go on to marry. You see, I also said we have an empowerment problem, and not an empowerment problem, but an empowerment program where we actually help parents to set up. Sometimes maybe parents are in a hurry to get the the girls to get married, but now they have businesses. If you help them, if you help someone to help the children to go to school, they would not be in a hurry to probably also marry. So you would see that through our education and empowerment programs, we are actually helping in this area of, discarding set ideas that we feel it should not possible now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Azara, for your answer. And for Sister Priyesta, I will also ask the same question. In BAZNAS, are there any what is the role of BAZNAS or the Zakat institution in mitigating this issue of child marriage?
Okay. Talking about the child marriage, we can see in the I can say it's a two solution. The first one, what we can do is the education. I agree with Madam Azara because education is really important, especially for the underprivileged who is living in the remote area. So, in this case, business can do the first one is about the education, how to educate the people about the reproduction and then early marriage. What is the disadvantage for them? We can do this kind of education through the Rumah Sehat Business or Rumah Sehat Business is a free hospital for mustahik, so we can do this kind of education. And the second one is we can also help the family to have income because the early marriage, what I can say, it's because of the poor family. They have no choice other than to marry their children to lower their family burden. So the second one is the how to increase the family income, and we can do this through the microfinance program by giving additional capital to them to do the business, and then also we have the scholarship program, so the underprivileged, the mustahik can have a better education, so they have a good education and prevent the early marriage. I think those are the solution that we can offer.
Thank you very much, Sister Priyesta. So, um, before we end the session, I would like to ask if any of you, both from Madam Azara and from Sister Priyesta, if you have any message you would like to convey to the audience about women empowerment, especially in Zakat institutions. First, to Sister Priyesta.
Okay, for the closing statement, I can say that we still need a lot of women for the Zakat organization because by uh, by by increasing the number of the women in the Zakat organization, we can have a more diverse organization, which can increase the innovation and also can improve their performance and productivity. And so that to increase this number, we need like mentoring or training session for women and how to increase their capability, their competency to go to the managerial level, so they can contribute more for the development of the global Zakat movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Priyesta. And to you, Madam Azara, do you have any message you would like to convey to the audience about women empowerment in Zakat
Yes.
institutions?
And that's my and we could spend the whole on issue of empowerment and leadership. I state that this is the period of Ramadan. Last 10 days, we seek prayer. Whatever we do, we must do it with Allah's guidance and guard. May Allah guide and guard BAZNAS well and enable us great which Allah it out to succeed in the Islamic world. We thank you for actually making us participate in this and allow my audience that alhamdulillah we thank them for doing and remember us in your prayers as much as we would also remember you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Azara. Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Azara, and thank you very much, Sister Priyesta. So, everyone at home, as we heard from both Madam Azara and from Sister Priyesta, these two very powerful women who are very successful and have a very important role in Zakat institutions. They are very they are examples for us so that we can also become women who are empowered, and that is not impossible for women to be able to sit in the role of a CEO or as a manager in any institution in the world. And that we also, to succeed, it is not impossible for women to be able to succeed as long as we are willing to study, and that we have to have a good education so that we have a mutual understanding between one another, and that we will be able to achieve our goals. And passion and belief is very important for us to be able to empower one another and to be able to achieve our dreams. So that is the end of our session for today. Thank you very much, Madam Azara, for your time, and thank you very much for Sister Priyesta for your time also.
Thank you very much.
I am Arwa Violaditya, and yeah, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.